But let's get going. So thank you for taking the time, and not only to join the webinar, but thank you for taking the time to join as a World Robot Olympiad judge. Without you, this isn't possible. So big thank you from me, and not only me, but all of our participants. With you, you bring some expertise, and for me, importantly, you are showing up for these teams, and you're showing that people care about the projects that they have been designing and the robots that they have made. And you will be sharing the day with us. You are part of this event, and you are the most important part of this event, because without any of you, we would not be able to run anything like we are. So some responsibilities as a WRO SA head judge. So I've broken this down in as simple as possible. You will be responsible for managing your assigned teams, and this includes their practice runs and their scoring runs. So you will be in charge of managing those. If you're new, don't worry. Remember, you have a partner who's with you, as well as a head judge who will be assisting you on the day. You will then assist your other judges. So please look after each other. We are a big judging family. So if you see someone struggling, please make sure you step in and help them out if you can. You will be assisting the head judges when they ask and with what they need. With our head judges, they keep everything running and rolling. So please make sure we look after each other as judges, as it is incredibly important. And you will assist a team when a specific issue occurs. It won't be to help them solve a problem, such as the robot not working, or perhaps to help them with coding, but you will help them when needed. Something like getting them to the bathrooms, making sure they've got something to drink. If you can see a child is about to pass out, please assist where you can. You're also in charge of some enforcement, and you're going to enforce the general rules, all of the game rules, as well as any of the scoring criteria, the code of ethics, which is very important. This is how we run our events, and any of the head judges' specific decisions. So there will be decisions made on the day, and you will need to enforce those decisions that are made. And for me, one of the most important things, you are also responsible for celebrating. You're going to celebrate with our teams, the judges, and all of the spectators. These events should be fun for all of the teams that are participating. Remember, we are working with children, and we want them to have a great time at these events. You celebrate all of their successes and help them get over all of their failures. The robots will work. The robots won't work, things will go wrong, but please, you are there to try and get these teams through the day. Celebrate all of these awesome robot designs you're going to see, as well as these very clever and incredible solutions that these teams have come up with. So please celebrate with the teams. Tell them, you've done an incredible job. Well done. You should be proud of yourselves. And for me, a big one, as a judge, you are here because you are most likely involved in the world of robotics and coding, whether it be as a teacher, maybe you're an expert in the industry, or maybe you are joining us as a parent. We don't know, but welcome to this incredible world of the World Robot Olympiad. Some more responsibilities. Big ones here, you are responsible for scoring the teams as well as clarifying any rules. If you see a team that's misinterpreted a rule, it is your job, please, to step in and help them understand how it works. Please do this during the practice rounds, because helping that team understand where they've gone wrong can help them assist and get their robot to work. You'll be assisting your fellow judges. You will see that a lot throughout this presentation and on the day. Remember, we're a family. Look after each other, please. You may be required to escort team members to the bathrooms. That is because we have found, especially in the international competition, that some coaches hide in the bathrooms so that they can give their team some information and help them with their robot designs and issues that they're having on the day. As a judge, we don't want them to do that. Also, we don't want teams to get lost, especially our younger members. They may not be used to the venue and may be getting lost on the day. So please escort the teams to the bathrooms if asked. You'll be you'll be expected to help to set up the game elements. Now, this will be on the table on the day. Everything will be set up for you. The elements will be there, but you will be required to place the elements in their positions for the different scoring runs. And importantly, you'll be in charge of scoring and timing the teams. There will be one score sheet between two judges, and you will share that score sheet and work with each other to score the team. If you agree with your fellow judge, that's perfectly fine. If you disagree with how your fellow judge is judging, that's also good, because one of you or both of you are looking for the interests of the team. So if you disagree with each other, it is a good thing. Call the head judge and they will make the final decision. Don't be afraid to disagree with somebody, even if they have more experience than you. Our past members who've done the quizzes will know I normally put in a trick question into the judges quiz, which is wrong. And I want you to challenge it, because I want you to be able to know that you can challenge the head judges. Even myself as a category head judge, you are welcome to challenge me on decisions for the best interests of the teams on the day. Some don'ts that we have for our Explorer events. A big one: never, ever, ever touch a team's robot without the team's permission. Never touch a team's programming device without the team's permission. The reason for this is that if something goes wrong with the robot after you've touched it, you're going to be blamed for the robot not running. So please keep that in mind. Don't ever touch a robot without permission. Rather call the team to move different things on their robot. Please don't assist any teams with building. That includes advice, route planning, telling them, hey, maybe go over there and do that. Any programming, helping them with program a line follower, or maybe get the ultrasonic working, or any communication with their coaches or parents or spectators. Please don't disrespect or tease or make fun of any team's robot design. We've got teams who have huge resources behind them, and we've got teams who have very little. They're going to be working with very basic robots. So please do not say anything negative or disrespectful about a team's robot. We have had issues with this in the past, primarily at the international final. So please make sure you are respectful towards these teams. They've been working for a long time with the resources that they have. So please be respectful towards them. A big one for me: please don't show any bias or favor towards any team. This includes your own teams at the event. If you're a head judge and you just happen to have some of your own teams under you, don't show any bias or favor towards any WRO team. Treat everybody fairly and in the same way. Please do not threaten a team with any disqualification unless you are a head judge. If you are a table judge, our general judges, then please do not tell a team that they may be disqualified. What that tends to do is it gets the team to panic, and they run around and are very, very worried about what happens and don't work out correctly. Please don't leave your tables unattended. Make sure your table is always attended by at least one judge. You should all be working together. Please make sure you are looking after one another. There are some exceptions, however, to the rules. You can assist a team if there is a specific hardware or software issue. So a hardware issue is something where the motor has stalled and you may have an extra motor in your kit. Please make sure that you ask your head judge if you can do it or not. Otherwise, contact the head judge with the issue and the head judge will be able to step in and assist. Please always remember, ask permission before you touch a team's robot. Some teams may require medication, hopefully not the whole team and just one team member. This could be some form of medication. Perhaps they have a headache, maybe they are diabetic. Please make sure that those teams receive the medication that they get from their parents or their coaches. You will have a team, or hopefully not, but a team sometimes will be emotionally devastated by their robot not working. It can cause issues. Things happen on the day, and there is a lot of emotion that these teams have with their robots. Remember, all of these teams have been working for months to try and get these things on there and can assist you. So a big one for me, this one is If you've ever seen any of my videos, you'll know this one. Please don't block the view of spectators. Here we have a team that's working hard on the table, and picture that their grandmother's flown all the way from Denmark to come and see them. And what happens is we have a judge who comes and stands right in front of the table. That doesn't work because now they can't see. And what they miss is their team doing well. Please also note that there are coaches who will be assisting and may want to see the table as well. So what makes a good judge? What is good criteria for a judge? Let's have a look and see. So judges should be friendly. Please be friendly towards your teams. They've traveled a long way. They are very, very nervous and stressed. They don't need someone grumpy with them. Please be observant. Watch what's going on around you. Make sure you don't hit a robot. Make sure you don't hit anybody in the face when you're going down. Most importantly, watch the coaches on the other side of the line. Make sure that they are not communicating with their teams. You should be attentive to all of the team's needs. That means that if there is something wrong with a team, maybe they need a cable, you can contact the head judge and we will try find one for them to make sure that that team can compete. We don't want a hardware failure to cause a team to not have fun at these events. You should be of high integrity. That means that if you have your own teams at the event, you should be leaving them alone and only focusing on the teams that you have on your table. A big one, you should understand the rules, not just read them, but actually understand what they are saying. We have created some audio files for you that are quite cool. They're like a nice little podcast. They were available there in your judge's email in the Google Drive, and you can access those and listen to that. It is a very good way to explain the rules and work through the rules. Some things to just remember. Judges, you are there for the teams. The teams are not there for you. So please don't go and ask a team member to go and get you a coffee outside. The team members are there to participate in the event, and you are there to assist and judge them. Remember, the team's enjoyment is our number one priority as a judge. So please, that is our number one priority. So let's take a quick look at the event day. So because we've got so many events, it might be different depending on where you are, but this is it in general. We have a Friday event and a Saturday event for Explorer. So remember, we're only talking about Explorer here, not Robo Missions. So for Explorer on Friday, we've got the Cura Aurora event, Whittle College, Cura Salt Rock, University of the Western Cape, and the Parklands College event all happening on a Friday. They have a different start and end time because it is only the Explorer event that will be at the competition. So we then have our Saturday event, and our Saturday event is different because our Saturday event takes place at the same time as our normal Robo Mission, Future Innovators, Future Engineers, and Robo Sports events. So those events will be happening at the same time. There we have Carnarvon Secondary School, La Rochelle Girls School, and the Victoria Girls High School, all happening on those days. So you can see we've got a huge number of competitions happening on the 1st of August with all of our events happening throughout the different provinces. So a closer look at what the schedule looks like. Now, the schedule you will find in the invitation letter. It's in the event information pack right at the end. You'll see the Explorer as well as Robo Mission and Robo Sports Future Innovators stuff that you can find there. So having a look at our judges meeting, there will be a judges meeting on the day, and this is very, very important as this is where you will find out your table allocation if it's not sent earlier. You will also go through some of the rules, and if there is a surprise rule, it will be presented to you there. You will also be introduced physically to your head judge, as well as receive your bib or your attire for the day. So remember, you will be wearing some kind of bib to be recognized by the teams and by coaches so that we can make sure that the only people in the competition area are judges and participants. A bit later, we have the opening of the hall, as well as final preparations. During this time, please assist teams in finding their seats, check that their power is all working, and make sure that they have all the equipment that they need. Then we have the actual competition time. It's divided into 2 slots of an hour each, 60 minutes. Slot 1, session 1, this is where the teams will be introduced to their challenge and they will work through it. They'll be coming to the tables and trying their best to score as much as possible. They will then have a very short break where we will have a short break for our Explorer teams. No team is allowed to work on their robots during the break. They must leave the area and the robots must be plugged in and charged, and the teams should save their programs. Then in session 2, teams will have another opportunity to score. Now, what's special about Explorer is that a team may score at any time during the day. So they can ask you as a judge to score them at any point during the competition time. So please be ready for teams to score and ask you to score. It is quite a busy job as you don't know when and where they will come from, but they will ask you at a certain point. We then have a pack-up time, and this is a time right after the event. Everybody's ready, everybody's finished, we've done what we've come to do, and now we'd like to ask the judges to help just organize all of the elements, get them into the boxes that they were packed in. Hand back your judges' bibs, please, then just sit back and relax. For our head judges, please, this is a very good opportunity to go around and thank the judges who have helped you on the day. So please make sure that you are assisting everybody and thanking them for being there. Next up, we have our table judges, age group head judges, and the category head judges. This is the hierarchy of judging. It is quite a thing to be a table judge. You are part of a very big group. If you are a head judge, welcome. You're part of a very elite group. So thank you for joining. And our category head judges, we do have a few, and they will be overlooking all of the different events. I will also be on call. So if our head judges have any questions, you are welcome to WhatsApp me, and I will be able to assist you on the day. We then go through the scoring procedures. So going through the scoring procedure is quite a thing. It is a very, very big thing to do, and there is a specific way in which it should be done. So if you are new, this is the actual scoring procedure we use for the Explorer events. So teams have to request when they want to be scored. So you cannot score a team just because they did well. They have to have asked you to do it, because a team can deny the score that you are giving them. So please make sure that when a team does ask you to be scored, that the table elements are set up correctly. Please give them a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go! The team will then start their robot. It'll start moving. The robot will then move all of the elements around and do a bit of stuff without interference. So as soon as the team touches the robot, it will stop. So teams must touch the robot in order to indicate that the competition or the robot run is complete, that it is finished. Once they have done that, the robot must remain in its finishing position. Teams can then step back from the table and you can begin your scoring. You score all of the elements as they are on the game mat at the end. So as they are resting on the mat, that's how you will score them. So if something is not completely in, you will score it as not completely in. You then tell the team what score they received. The team can then pick up their robot and they go back to the end of the line where they can keep practicing, and practice will then resume until another team comes to ask you to score. So Explorer has continuous scoring. That means teams can score multiple times when they like. They can score for a maximum of 4 times on the competition day, and they can use all 4 scores in the first 10 minutes if they like. However, that's never happened. We have had a team do that in the first half an hour, but it is possible. So teams have to inform the judges when they want to score, and they have to score higher than their previous scoring run. So what does that mean? Well, if a team doesn't score higher than their previous score, they will not have their score written down because we want to give the teams the best possible scores on the day. So a team as well may refuse for a score to be recorded. So for example, if a team says that they would like to score and they score 140 points, and then they end up scoring in the next run 150, which is 10 points more, they can say, please don't write that down. We don't want that there. Let's rather leave it. And you can then go with that decision. Explorer is still continuous. As an example of what we're talking about, Team A scores 140 points in their first scoring run. Team A then scores 100 points in their second scoring run. The second scoring run is not recorded as the score is lower than the first. We only score higher than the previous score. Taking a look at an example of one of the score sheets. So this is how one of the score sheets will look. It's exactly as you would have it on the day. So you will have the team name where it says Explorer Light, as well as some information about the team. You then have all of the tasks that are required of the robot to score on the day, as well as 4 scoring opportunities and 4 scoring runs. So there we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the columns in which you will write the scores. So please record everything that happened in that scoring run. As we can see, this first robot here scored points for the ultrasonic sensor. It didn't use the line sensor or the light sensor for following a line, and it managed to push the 2 excavators out. But it didn't score any other points. Everything else is marked as 0. We then have it come back for its second round, and there we can see a great improvement where they followed a line and scored those 30 points as well as scored everything previous. Please note that you will need to write down a 0 if there is no score achieved. This will help us if there's a discrepancy, if a team wants to debate their score. If there is a 0 on the page, it's easier to say you scored 0 than if it is blank, because that means the team may have scored it or they might not have scored it. So please make sure you write a 0 when there is nothing for the team to have scored. Please also check for special conditions. These will be in brackets on the score sheet. For example, here the algae tank is upright. If it is not upright, it will not score the 20 points. It'll drop down to 10. So make sure you keep an eye out for those special conditions. There is another one up the top here. No other image, and the excavators are upright. So the excavators must be upright and only touching Martian soil as per the game rules. Taking a look at our timing for Explorer. So in Explorer, we've got a different timing. You don't sit and time how long the robot's moving for. What you do is once the team's robot has stopped during their scoring round, you take a look at your watch or your phone and you take note of the time of the day that it was. So as an example, we have the first run here. The team scored 140 points at 5 minutes past 12. They then scored 210 at 18 minutes past 1 and 360 points at 22 minutes past 2. So please write down the time that the robot stopped moving underneath the score that it is associated with. What we then do is we have a very simple equation which calculates the total amount of time taken to reach that score. The team that scored the highest points in the quickest amount of time will be the team that wins. So please, time is very important on the day. So now that we've spoken a bit about what it means to judge, let's take a look at the actual challenges so that you can go over the rules. And if there is something that you want to ask later, don't worry, we've got a Q&A where you will be able to ask. So we have the Explorer Lite game rules. You can have a look at the table so long, see if you can familiarize yourself with the setup. All right, so the first thing on the score sheet is that you need to use an ultrasonic, and that will start the robot moving. You then have a little line follower. This should be a little zigzag that the robot does. We can then have the excavators move. Those are the two little excavator pieces. They need to move out onto the red soil, anywhere on the game mat. You have a hydrogen tank that starts on the robot. If you're Explorer Light, it starts on the robot. If it's Explorer Prime, it does not. This is for Explorer Light. It needs to go all of the way to the Aramco logo, to the factory area, or the refinery area. You then have a water pipe kit. This needs to be taken past the two gray pipe images on the game mat, completely past. You then have the actual algae tank that needs to go into the refill zone. That's the little black square closest to the two water silo images on the game mat. We then have the titanium ore. These are the white 2x4 bricks. They need to be taken to the refinery area, the same location as the hydrogen tank needs to go. You then have gold pieces, the yellow 2x4 bricks. There are 3 of them on the game mat, and they need to go also to the refinery area. We then have wonderful construction kits that need to be taken from their shuttles and placed into the construction area. Our robot can then make its way back to the finish and score some bonus points for finishing. We then have some very simple bonus points. If teams did not interact with the red and the blue balls on the game mat, they will score extra points for the habitats. So if we're using the ultrasonic sensor, when the team starts the robot, they will score 20 points. For a line follower, it is 30 points. For our excavators, only touching Martian soil, 20 points each, maximum of 40 because there's only 2 of them. The hydrogen tank in the refinery area for 10 points. The water pipe kit into the construction area for 20 points. The algae tank inside the refill zone, also 20 points. The titanium ore in the refinery is 10 points each. There are 5 on the game mat, so a maximum of 50. The gold ore into the refinery area, 20 points each. That means that gold is worth more than titanium. Fancy that. There are 3 of them on the game mat. Our construction kits, 2 of these, 1 white and 1 red, into the construction area, 10 points each if they are touching the game mat. So if they are moved into the zone, they get 40 points. So just by touching the game mat, they get 10 points. If they're inside the zone, that's 40 points, which means that these elements are actually worth 50 points for getting them correct. So keep that in mind. You do need to watch where the game mat is and where those elements are. We then have the constructed habitats. These are 5 points each for a maximum of 20 points if they are not damaged. So not damaged means that the ball is still on top of its pedestal. The robot needs to be projecting into the start area for 30 points. Projecting, we cover it a bit later, but it's basically the robot needs to be moving over, or a piece needs to be hanging over, or even touching the start area for points to be scored. It is very easy points to get, and all teams should hopefully be doing that. For our Explorer Prime, there is a slight difference in the setup. Explorer Prime, we have the hydrogen tank on top of the algae tank. That's where it starts, just to the top right area to the left of an excavator. So it starts just as it is in the image, and this is for Explorer Prime. The team needs to collect it and take it through to the refill area. They need to then leave its base, so the hydrogen tank, just down on the game mat, unmoved, still within the gray square. For the hydrogen tank not being moved, they get 10 points. And for the algae tank inside of the refill zone, they score 20. So some clarifications on rules that we have for the event. These are some of the most common things and some tricky things that you may have been wondering about if you've done the judges quiz. So the first thing is that the robot starting area, where the robot is starting, when a team places their robot down, all parts of that robot must be completely inside of the start area. This includes the cables. Nothing is allowed to overhang the border area of the start area. So if you see it, tell a team they have to fix it. Their robot's too big. They need to make sure it doesn't fit in, or it fits completely inside of the start area and nothing is overhanging or touching outside. For Explorer, we have the idea of completely in or touching. If an element touches the scoring area anywhere, if it's completely inside of the scoring area, my apologies. If it's completely inside of the scoring area, it's not touching outside of the scoring area, it is completely inside. If it touches anywhere outside of the scoring area, even by a millimeter or 2 millimeters, it is considered out and would get partial points. Taking a look at the construction kits and the shuttles, if you've had a look or attempted the Explorer quiz, you may notice this image. This is a trick question that I have there. Don't know how many of you have got it right. I'm going to have a look a bit later, but I have been getting some questions about this one because people are getting the answer here wrong, and there's a reason for it. So with this one, remember those 10 points each for the elements touching the game mat? Those are always scored if the element touches the game mat. It only needs to touch. It doesn't need to be completely inside. If this element was sitting anywhere else on the game mat, they would still score 10 points for that element. With the construction kit, it's 40 points if it's inside the area. There it is, completely inside, and 20 points for touching partially. But remember those special conditions. Here it says that the shuttle touches the starting position and is not damaged. So what we have here is the red shuttle is not touching its original starting position. It is currently touching the yellow starting area. I did this on purpose to try and have you look at the game mat and try and see what other things are going on. So in reality, what would happen here, a team in this instance would score 10 points each for the two elements touching the game mats. They would score 20 points for this element partially touching, and they would get a big 0 for this point as the shuttle has moved off of its starting area. So in total, this configuration is worth only 40 points for the team because they've moved the shuttle outside of its starting area. Looking at the bonus points, a team will always score bonus points as long as the conditions are met. In this case, the balls are still on top of their pedestals. For the robot projecting, there is a special note, and that is that in order to score the robot projecting points, they must have scored positive points somewhere else on the game mat. So the robot can't just drive out of the starting area and back in and get those points. They will not be scored them. They have to do something else. With the gold and titanium, how it works is the head judges will randomize the placement of the elements in positions 2 through to 8, and these will stay as they are on the day. So for example, if we had a titanium, 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 and all three gold in that corner, that's how it will stay for all teams, both Explorer and Light, for the rest of the day. Remember, position 1 will always be a white titanium block. It is not randomized. The rest will be randomized at the start of the day for all of our teams. With the Explorer competition, I have to explain this little thing that we see on the schedule. There it says that there is a 15-minute final scoring round. What you'll see here is the round before it is 45 minutes. 45 plus 15 gives us our total of 60, and that is our hour long. When we are scoring, when the timer hits 0, all teams need to go and sit down unless a team had asked to be scored and the timer hit 0 while their robot is moving on the game mat. A team is not allowed to score once the timer has hit 0. Under no circumstances will a team be allowed to do that, because the point of Explorer is to try and score within 2 hours. By allowing a team to score after that period of time, they are being given an advantage. So keep in mind, teams are not allowed to score once the timer hits 0. So, what to expect at your event? If you've never been to one, it can be quite daunting and confusing, but here's a bit of what you can expect. Please expect that you're going to wear a very stylish judge's bib. It comes in multiple colors, such as red and yellow. It's very, very exciting. And if you're lucky enough to be going to some of our other events, you may have the old bibs, which are a beautiful mustard yellow, emerald green, and tomato sauce red. So you will be standing quite a lot at these events. We want our judges to try and stand because the teams can see them a bit easier. It also means you're interacting with the teams more and you're interacting with the table a lot more. If it's your first time, you will be nervous, but you will settle in very quickly. There's no need to be nervous. You will settle in very, very, very quickly. The teams will make you feel welcome and you will have a very good time. You will be active, you will be busy while you are judging, and at the end of the day, you will have a favorite team. This will be a team that's on your table that just seems like a great team. They're friendly, they may be having fun. You might have found that they were struggling quite a lot and then they had an aha moment. Perhaps they lost their entire program and had to start from scratch. So please, you will have a favorite team, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like to hear the stories of our favorite teams at the end of events because it shows us how our judges were interacting with these teams. And a big one for me, you are going to have far more fun than you actually think. I think any of our veteran judges will tell you it is really a fun experience and the interaction is always incredible. So some judging admin. I'm missing the last word there. So some judging admin. Judging is completely voluntary. Everything is at our own expense as a judge. This includes if you are going through to the international final competition. Everything is at your own expense. Judges are not paid even at the international finals. And one thing to remember, that judges are all people with a love for the World Robot Olympiad, for robotics, or even for both. In South Africa, we pride ourselves on our judges. We have some of the best judges in the world, and I'm very proud to say that. Our judges are always professional. They maintain incredibly high integrities and are often asked to take on some of the most difficult teams on the days, especially at the international finals. We also tend to send the most number of judges, or have been for the last few years, to the international final. So if you are thinking of, hey, I enjoyed this judging experience, I'd like to go and check out the international final, you need to let us know. But you must have built up some experience to judge internationally. You have to have judged at one or more of the WRO SA provincial events. You have to have judged at the national final. And you must have notified us that you would like to judge internationally. Only WRO South Africa can put forward judges from South Africa to the international final. All of you have to go through us to go through to the international final because we need to vouch for your credibility. If you've got any questions, you can reach us at wro@handsontech.co.za. This could be anything WRO, as well as if you're looking for the rule documents, you can find them on our website. But in your judging invitation, you will also find a link to a Google Drive folder. And inside of that, I've put all of the event information as well as the rule books for you to find easily. You will also find the audio files where you can sit and listen to the wonderful world of WRO. And now we get to my favorite part because I never know what's going to be asked, the Q&A. So I'm going to activate all of your microphones, so you are welcome to turn on your microphone and ask a question if you like. You are also welcome to just type it into the chat if you would like to ask your question. So if you have anything that is Explorer related, you are welcome to ask away. Your microphones have just been activated, so please feel free, just deactivate your microphone or turn on your microphone and ask your question. I see I've got a question from Karen. Karen, by the way, is one of our head judges and has been doing or involved in World Robo Olympiad for quite a long time. So thank you, Karen. What's your question?
So just a question around when the judges are writing the scores on the sheet. So there's only 4 columns. So if we are scoring and then we're not going to accept that score, do you just scratch it out or not write it on? Sort of what is the procedure? Because normally we would write it on as, you're busy scoring. But if the score ends up being lower, then do you just scratch it out? What is the process?
Very good question. So yes, you can scratch it out. You can write it small, scratch it out. However, if you find that you've written quite a big one, you can ask for an extra score sheet as well as create your own column on the other side. Or if you've got a lot of columns, you can even write it on the back. So what I would suggest, best thing to do, because you have your score sheet as an A4 page, flip it over, score the team on the blank side, and then if the team accepts a score, you can write it in on the front. That is probably the best way to do it. But if you want, you're welcome to bring your own test score sheets. I will have practice score sheets available, so you will be able to practice as you go if you are worried about the score sheets. If you haven't yet attempted the judges quiz, please go ahead and give it a try. It is a lot of fun. I think it is, at least. And if you've been doing this for a while, you'll know that there are some very tricky questions. You need to look quite carefully at the images that are there. So have fun and enjoy it. So thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you all at your events. Have a great evening.